Right, hit it.
Let's do it now, baby! It's I, the one and only Senor Silverback himself. Gotta roll the R's, keep it culturally appropriate. Hey man, CJ, the master of the flux capacitor, the producer extraordinaire himself, and we are back with another exciting Rogue Money Mornings, the only place where you'll get the news, the views, and all the information important to you without all the conspiratard BS. We bring it to you live, we bring it to you raw and unfiltered. Check us out on roguemoney.net. Follow us on Twitter at the Rogue Money. And check us out on Facebook. Also, follow us on Steam it, most importantly, re-steam. Or how's that working? They have to re-steam it or reheat it or something like that? Or post?
Yeah, upvote, upvote and re-steam. You're right.
Oh, upvote and re-steam it. There you go. Not reheat. Like it's a microwave. Hit upvote and defrost our posts and steam it.
Yeah, get it warm again. Keep it circulating.
Keep it circulating. Get it warm again. Over at Steam it and DTube, because DTube is a centralized YouTube. You guys want to migrate, now's the time. Don't wait. Let's get out the gate. And with that being said, you can also check out our sponsors. I was going to say Reality Now. Why can't I get this name down, CJ? Why? Ever since
Well,
it changed over, I can't get this name down. At first it was Reality Bite. Now I was going to call it Reality Now.
just go with the list of like 10, and then we can have them put like 10 different DBAs on it.
I'm going to tell them to buy every URL that I happen to blurt out, just in case. realitynow.com. What in the world am I thinking? What is the name of our Remain Calm. That's
Remain calm. There you go. You wait till I tell Frank.
RemainCalm.net. Realitybites.net. I mean, shut up, man. You're messing me up. You're messing me up, man. RemainCalm.net. These are the guys you want to go as your one-stop shop. Don't freak out. Remain calm. You want to get your gold USB? Boom, it's there. Surf the web anonymously. I was going to say unanimously. God, I need more dark roast this morning, Siege. Surf the web anonymously. I'm going to tell you after these announcements why I'm so I'm so stumbling all over the place. You're going to love this story. It's hilarious, okay?
Sure. Yeah, let's do it.
Now, let me just get through these announcements first, okay? So, surf the dark web anonymously, not unanimously, but anonymously, with 1024-bit military-grade encryption. Secure your Bitcoin wallet, all with one device. Privacy is everything, as we've seen, as more and more of these bureaucracies that we entrust our privacy and our information to are getting hacked left and right. With that being said, also, folks, check us out. They also have personal funding. So if you need business funding or personal funding, they can get you up to $600,000 unsecured from their network of over 335 lenders. They also have their credit repair and their Thrive asset protection program. So if you are up to your eyeballs in debt, or you just can't handle it, you're on that minimum payment cycle, and you want to get the heck out, you're done with it. Let's let these guys show you how the debt game is played, and it is a game. It is a game. These guys could protect you against bankruptcies, against levies, against judgments, against liens. These are the guys who know. These are the financial A team. These are the guys you call to get the job done, and they will come to your rescue. Make sure that your bank accounts and your assets and your wealth are protected, and they repair your credit. Oh, it's going to be a long day. They repair your credit as well. RemainCalm.net. With that out of the way, CJ, any other further announcements before I mess things up even more?
I mean, just in part, listening, just sending out thoughts and prayers for anyone that has family, in Mexico, Mexico City, with that massive earthquake. I'm seeing different reports, as many as 250 killed in that earthquake. Yeah, and it comes on the 1-year anniversary. They were actually doing drills on the 1-year anniversary from their last massive quake when this occurred. And Bankster Slayer has put together a great article just kind of linking and tying in about all the things that are occurring in terms of the earthquakes, the hurricanes. So go to roguemoney.net and check that out.
Absolutely. EJ, man, what's going on? What's crack-a-lacking? What's the latest, bro?
Well, everyone's the big Fed meeting today, and everyone wondering what's Janet Yellen and the Fed, and how are they going to be taking a look at the economy, and the important part is that what are they going to be doing with the Fed balance sheet? How are they going to be unwinding it? What is their specific plan? There's a lot of folks that are thinking that they're not going to do anything. There's not going to be any rate hike, in part because of the recent hurricanes that occurred in Florida, in Texas, thinking that now is going to be a time where there's going to be a lot of individuals, municipalities are going to be needing to borrow money to go forward. So would raising the rates hinder that? But I think in part is, what exactly are they going to be doing? If the banks had their choice, V, that they would want, to continue the manipulation of the market, to continue the Fed, toxic assets and everything. What are your thoughts on it?
What's the Fed going to do? On every single financial channel on the internet, on YouTube, anybody who wants to talk about this, and this is what separates Rogue, and this is what separates the gorilla from every other thriller in Manila. And I got to stop rhyming because clearly I'm not Muhammad Ali. Oh, let me tell you the story of why I'm like this, EJ.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah. Story.
See how jacked up I am this morning, dude? Dude, I'm jacked up. I'll tell you what happened. Okay. So about 2 weeks ago, I decided to order a line of supplements, sports supplements for working out and stuff. And one of the guys I follow on YouTube, who's a total absolute freak of a bodybuilder named Rich Piana. Rich had his company called 5% Nutrition, and then Rich dropped dead. He died. He was 46 years old, young guy. I mean, this guy was like 300 pounds, sheer muscle, like practically like 3% body fat, and he was on steroids. And he admitted to you that he was on steroids. He's one of those honest bodybuilders. He's not like these idiots from the Mr. Olympia, like, I'm not on anything, I swear. It's just anabolic chicken, you know? Meanwhile, they're taking vitamin S, you know? you know?
Right.
So Rich was a very honest guy, and he helped a lot of people. He was very selfless, great guy. Anybody who knew him, Rich Piana was just an amazing dude. And when I first saw the guy, I was like, who is this freak? Then you actually listened to him, like, holy crap, he's actually intelligent. I got a background and a degree in nutrition, so I know BS when I hear BS. And this guy was legit on the money. And so Rich developed a line of sports supplements, one of which is called Real Food, which is actually derived from real food. Like, you open up his canister of real food, it's real yams and sweet potatoes, right? And real oats. You can see it in there. It's amazing. It's like there's no artificial crap or anything in there. So he's got this like a meal replacement add-on that I mix with my protein drinks to add a little bit more complex, low GI carbohydrates to my proteins. It's great for after workout. And then he's got this this joint / amino formula that you kind of sip throughout the day. It's called All Day You May. And he has this nighttime formula to help you sleep called Knock the F Out, right? Literally, it's called Knock the F Out, and the FUCK is of course blurred out on the label, but it's Knock the F Out. So I was like, let me try it. I think I did a little too much and Knock the F Out. Dude, I didn't get up out of bed until like 8:45. I was like,
wow.
I'm like, yo, dude, it works. You'd have the best sleep of your life. I mean, I'm not groggy. I'm just my abrupt rising out of bed is still, still a little what's the word? I'm little still. My mind's still a little foggy, a little bit, But I feel great. Physically, I feel wonderful. I'm, sipping my dark roast, and I'm gonna have another round after the show. But amazing, you know me, Siege. I always have problems sleeping, man. It's rough getting to bed. I'm usually running on 3 or 4 hours sometimes.
Well, your
And
mind is constantly moving.
my mind is always moving. Even though I'm lying down, people think, oh, he's asleep. I'm not, dude. It's like, dude, my brain is constantly crunching data. It just needs to shut up. Shut up. And so Knock the F Out was the best sleep supplement I've ever tried. And I'm not getting paid a dime from 5% Nutrition to recommend this. Their products are legit. I love it. Love real food, amazing. It mixes well. The flavor I got was sweet potatoes. So, dude, I take my sweet potato, mix it with my chocolate, optimum nutrition whey protein, drop in a banana, a tablespoon of peanut butter, a little bit of ice, blend it up. Dude, I felt great yesterday. I mean, I because I do a lot of intermittent fast, so during the morning time I don't eat anything. I just have my coffee. So having the breaking my fast around 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, and knocking down a shake was great. I felt wonderful. Now I can go to the gym and get my work in and get it done. So that's what happened, folks. 5% nutrition's knocked the F out, has knocked me the F out, and that's why this morning I'm bumbling and stumbling like like an idiot. Anyway, back to the Fed's balance sheet siege, what we're talking about, right?
Yeah, right.
Okay. This week's FOMC's every move may be slightly more difficult for the little munchkin gerbil known as Janet the Gerbil Yellen to navigate the division with the FOMC over the appropriate near-term policy that grows. It'll be interesting. And here are the key things to look out for the Fed's dot plot. They're talking about this dot plot. While the median 2017 dot is set to tentatively pencil in a December rate hike, we expect to see more members calling for a pause for the remainder of the year. Anything more than 5 would suggest the likelihood of additional tightening this year hangs in the balance, and the market's right to price in a 50-50 odds. Okay, let's deconstruct that line. See, how long has the Fed been tightening so far?
What, we rolling up to what, 12?
I mean, I lost count, bro.
Yeah.
I lost count. I mean, I can't think right now because thanks to knock the F out, I can't recollect exactly what number. I mean, I know what the answer is. You just know that but you can't pull the data from your brain.
Right.
Right. Oh, another thing, vivid dreams. Vivid dreams. It was amazing. I dreamt that I was leading an entire insurgency in Rise of the Planet of the Apes. Yeah, I was the King Kong character. It was amazing. Vivid. It was amazing. Anyway, so everybody's talking about the market, the Fed tightening. All this tightening. Okay, this is what I'm saying, guys. The market, okay, the stock market and the physical economy are two different things. Okay, so people like to hype up things. This is the fear mongering where they kind of cause a sell off. And these guys go in and they buy everything on the low, and the market keeps rock and rolling. Has the market within the past year showed any signs of quote unquote tightening?
No.
Exactly. None. Right? If the market was real, if this was an actual physical market, if this was a real market that took account to real metrics, not the phony baloney electronic magic show that happens day in and day out, where 80 to 90% of trades are done and committed by computers, okay? Then we wouldn't have a 22 going on to 23,000 point down, right? If there was tightening, right? So what does this tightening have to do with the market? It has nothing to do with the market. So all this talk about, the market, let's see how the market reacts. You can have a nuclear bomb go off at the One Chase Plaza building in downtown Manhattan next to Wall Street, and the market will probably still go up to 30,000 points after a slight dip. So Janet the Gerbil Yellen, okay? She reminds me of a little old gerbil. She's a little cute little gerbil that comes out there with a little clipped little hair, looking like a little football, looking like a little fuzzy football. And she comes out there and raises the basis points by 0.5%, by 5 basis points. Does nothing. It does nothing. Okay? Now, people are all working themselves up over the tizzy. They are doing this. Look, they understand this. Look. Oh, they're going to collapse the market. They're going to pull the rug from it. Where? Where is this collapsing the market? It's not happening. But what is happening is what we've been talking about. Once you started understanding the game, once I started waking up to the fact that every single chart and metric that I've been using for so many years doesn't mean squat. Throw it out the window. We're going sky high, baby. We're going sky high. Dow, 29,000, here we come. Dollar index, probably close to 100, here we come. Maybe even over 100, here we come. And then it's going to go pop. But it's not going to pop down. It's going to pop up. It's going to go parabolic and explode. Everybody's looking for a contraction. You're not going to see it. Okay? So when the rug is indeed pulled, okay, when the rug is indeed pulled, when the crap show that's been running for the last several years is finally done, I promise you that the powers that be will leave no sign, no indication, no warning whatsoever when they turn off the switch. There won't be a 1,000-point correction before it falls out. There won't be a 5,000-point downturn giving people a chance to sell the shorts. No. Once it's gone, it's gone. And that's how it's going to play out, CJ. So this whole entire thing, talking about, the two storms that might, wreck the Fed's balance sheet, okay, the U.S. yields of the U.S. dollar, what's going to happen, And the whole thing is this, guys. Nothing is going to happen. It's not going to tighten any sort of financial conditions. Nothing. Okay, absolutely nothing. So that's just the way the cookie crumbles with the Fed's FMOC, and that is that. I wouldn't worry about it. Who cares? Keep rocking and keep rolling. Means nothing. Means nothing to the market. Means nothing to the economy. Nobody's going to sense anything. No one's going to feel anything, bro. That's the crazy thing.
Right. I mean, what is it now? They said only about actual trades that occur are only like 10% like human generated. Like majority of all trades nowadays are all computer generated. All the algos. As a matter of fact, the bank that we dislike the most is about ready to replace a good portion of their traders with actual AI because there's no need, because it's all in the algos.
It's all in the algos, and unfortunately for the hot shot or the hottest of shots traders, the algos are actually faster than you. They trade better than you. They can crunch numbers and data faster than you. You simply cannot hang. And you think automation is only for McDonald's? Think again, Wall Street. Think again. Anyway, CJ, seems like Al-Qaeda's Air Force, the Israeli Defense Force, or the Israeli Air Force is at it again. What did Al-Qaeda's Air Force do this time, CJ?
Well, we're finally at that flashpoint, V, where now U.S.-backed, whether it's the moderate rebels or any other group that's disguising itself in there, they're finally coming to head with not only Syrian forces but also with Hezbollah in terms of liberating Syria. And in one particular area where Lebanon and Syria meet, the Israelis have had warplanes strike in that area. So. This is it's very interesting. It's finally coming to an end here, and this is like, to me, it's like the last stand that's occurring in this area.
Thank God it is the last stand. You have Syrian Muslims and Syrian Christians fighting together side by side. Oh my God, what a concept! I thought they were all terrorists fighting together. Okay, and against the Wahhabi fundamentalist nut job goat humpers. And the goat humpers are making their last stand in the city of Deir ez-Zor, and they're going to get the crap blown out of them. And of course, Al-Qaeda's Air Force is doing its best, and which is both the IDF as well as the United States Air Force. But they only do it in certain spots, and spots where Russia is not. With that being said, Siege, man, let's talk about Trump's UN speech and how it correlates to this. Then we'll backtrack back to Syria. Go ahead, man.
Yeah, so in a nutshell, Trump's UN speech is that if you're a Republican, you probably more than likely loved it, and if you're a Democrat, you hated it. If you're somewhere in the middle, a mixed bag of things that Trump stated. So in part, he specifically, went after Iran, Venezuela, talked about the need for more freedom, more democracy, in North Korea in part. And in this speech, it was funny because he actually did label Kim Jong Un Rocket Man. He said that in his he said it in his speech. So he talked a lot about. I listened to a portion of the speech. I didn't listen to it all, but I like the thoughts of speaking specifically around the UN and speaking about its efforts and talking about the amount of money that's poured into it, and the fact that if that money was put to some type of good, could it possibly be worth it to ensure nation sovereignty, to ensure peace in the world? I would think that we could probably all argue that, yeah, if we had a peaceful world, this would be great. But in part, some of the I'll call them threats, because I think that's what they were, directed at those countries, really kind of raised the alarm bell in terms of this particular speech. And I think more people were looking for it to kind of spell out what the U.S. and going forward. So I think he accomplished the portion of talking about specifically that the United States, he wants to look internally as far as rebuilding America, focusing in on internal matters. But yet it's a complicated speech, because then he starts talking specifically about that North Korea and the Iran deal was so bad, and I'm going to tell you that I'm going to fix it. And North Korea doesn't know what they're going to get into. We'll destroy the whole world. They don't know what they're going to do. They're quote unquote totally destroy North Korea. So again, from that perspective, a very mixed approach to it. So I think you're going to have those that they're going to raise their hand in the air and say, yes, let's go to war, let's go to battle, let's go do all these things. And the other side saying, wait a minute, specifically candidate Trump and some of the things that he talked about. We're getting ready to talk about Afghanistan a little bit. Some of those things is really a mixed bag of emotions here. And in fact, what's his chief of staff, John Kelly. Mm-hmm. John Kelly. I don't know whether Trump went off of his speech for a little bit, but John Kelly, like a couple of points during Trump's speech, like literally was like falling over, like had his hand in his face, like, and was that staged? I don't know. It possibly could have been, but he was captured with his hands in his face, looking, totally upset through the speech. So who knows specifically around it? But I think that my biggest takeaway is that it does look like the neocons. It looks like the influence of regime change that we like to call democracy that we're spreading. It looks like there's more things to come in terms of the compromise that was perhaps may have made, that Trump negotiated, the art of the deal, that, hey, I'm going to give you this, and here domestically I want some things done. We'll have to see where it goes, but I think the writing's on the wall, specifically around Afghanistan, of where the future and where he's taking the country be.
Yeah, it's pretty funny. Like, this guy, ran as, when he was candidate, he was running like many would say, a Ron Paul Republican. And that's his base. That's what energized the base. That's what got everything going. It was like Ron Paul, but with a little bit more authority to get things done. And that's why we all voted for him. He gets to the UN, and it's like, all right, it's George W. Bush all over again. It's the Iraq and the Iranians are tremendously the most murderous, fantastically murderous regime in all the world. That's a bunch of bullshit. That is I'm sure that the neocon John, the maniacal mustache Bolton, was sitting there in the audience with a bottle of Vaseline lotion with him every time Trump talked about attacking Iran. Okay? Iran is not a terrorist state, number one. Number two, they are not Arab. Number three, if you think that they're going to lay down like Arabs, you have another thing coming to you. Number four, Iran is part and parcel in strong economic accords with Russia, with China, and now with Turkey. We are not going to do jack squat to Iran. this whole speech had a lot to do with appeasing Israel, okay, than anything else. Why Israel? Israel and Israel's ally in the region, okay? The fundamentalist Zionists and the fundamentalist Islamists work hand in hand. You don't believe me? Then why the hell is the IDF supporting Al Qaeda and giving them air cover? Why the hell is the IDF set up field hospitals to nurse back to health Al Nusra fighters and send them back, send them back into the field in Syria? Why the hell is the IDF helping ISIS when it comes very close that the ISIS held position is about to fall? Zoom. Here comes the ISIS Air Force. Okay? Israel's doing the same thing. Same thing with the Saudis. They're providing material support and financial support. So the fundamentalist Zionists, the fundamentalist Islamists, they're all working together. Okay? And that is the issues, and that is the whole entire thing, man. And so, it's incredible to see this whole entire buildup of everything. And the whole point of the matter is this. Okay, the whole point of the matter is this. This speech is off the rocker of attacking North Korea, attacking Iran. And when you see that cackling Waffle House waitress, Nikki Haley, laughing about this whole entire thing, or just so joyous, because this is a woman who has no concept of foreign policy, none whatsoever, except whatever the maniacal mustache John Bolton has told her. Okay, so for her to cackle about this speech, some Americans, oh, this is great, and then he's talking about removing Assad, or did he mention about removing Assad?
Venezuela. He said that we could not stand by and watch democracy go away from.
Yes, we can. Venezuela hasn't had democracy in a while. Leave it be. Okay. Yes, we can stand by and let Venezuelans eat themselves. Okay. Yes, we can stand by. It is not our friggin' business. We have two cities or two states in this country where hurricanes were ravaged, okay, that are under flood, that are under water, okay? Nothing has become of it. And we have serious issues here. Now we want to go spelunking in Venezuela. Now we want to go bomb North Korea. Now we're going to take out the murderous regime of Iran. Why? Because Iran is this is my whole entire point. Israel and Saudi Arabia doesn't want Iran in the region. Because Iran, like I said before, they are floating on oil more so than the Saudis. They will be the replacement in the Middle East for de facto petrol oil. They will be the de facto replacement for the petrodollar. They will help fuel it. It's going to be the Iranian oil. Why? They never had refining capacity. That's why we hated Iran. Okay? We hated Iran because they will, if they ever have the refining capacity, they are willing to sell their oil on the market under whatever currency. They don't want to use a dollar system. They don't want to use a petrodollar trade. They don't care about it. They have no need for it. And that's why they're a threat. That's why they're terrified.
Yeah, and the political pundits that we're about, and like I said, I like to listen to them just, for the counter arguments, V. And, for example, Dana Perino, former White House press secretary, she's out there saying, oh, yeah, this was the greatest speech given, since his inauguration and everything. Well, let's remember, Barack Obama gave great speeches too. Okay, so it's the actions that occur, not that someone can get up there and give a speech or be eloquent about a certain topic. Speeches really don't mean crap, V.
Yeah, absolutely. It doesn't. Yeah, exactly correct. Exactly correct. At the end of the day, these speeches don't mean much of anything. So let's see what happens. What is next on the agenda, Siege?
But what we do know, though, V, is we do know that Afghanistan was a perfect example where the history of Afghanistan, the history of Russia, the numerous years that they've spent there, and now we've been there over, is it coming up on 16 years, I believe, in Afghanistan. So to me, and I'm not sure why I'm fixated on it, V, but Afghanistan to me was a very pivotal moment for the administration.
Yeah,
yeah. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. It is a pivotal moment. Go ahead, Siege.
It's a very pivotal moment because one of the reasons why we, at least I then supported candidate Trump was in part, number one was because I didn't want Hillary in office, okay?
Hmm.
Because of these exact same things.
Right.
That she would become the war president, and now I'm watching Trump kind of become the war president.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of funny to see all this stuff, man. It really is. And now, over 3,000 troops headed to Afghanistan for what? For what? Oh, we're gonna first you threw like 20, 30,000 troops into Afghanistan, accomplished nothing. You could barely hold on to Kabul. You downscaled it. Now you're gonna put another 3,000 back. What is that gonna do? What is it gonna do? It's nonsense, bro. It's pure nonsense. Oh, we're gonna what? We got to secure more of the poppy seeds. We got to make sure that the heroin um, continues to flow. It's why Sergei Lavrov. It's like the Russians have the brains these days. They said this. Sergei Lavrov called the whole strategy. It's a dead end. It's a dead end. You know, there's no military solution to Afghanistan. There never will be. All right, it's a failed state. It's a lost cause. Can we move on? But now now it's about bombing North Korea. You know it's about bombing North Korea. It's about should we go into Venezuela and we need to spread democracy. I hate that word democracy. It's a euphemism for communism, man. Oh, it's threatening our democracy. We're not a democracy. We're a republic, a constitutional republic. There's a difference. Democracy is a euphemism that communists use, and I hate that word. Anyway.
Right. Yeah, I hate seeing this. It's so reflective of George W. Bush. When George W.
It is.
Bush took office, the Republicans had the House and the Senate, and could have accomplished so much. But then within 2 years, guess what? They lost the House. I'm not sure if they lost both. My memory fails me there, but they had an opportunity to do so much to be visionary, to be a visionary leader, to bring America back in terms of our industries, in terms of our trade, uh, focus so much more internally on our country, the direction our country is going, versus all these things. And I'm referring to them as distractions in part because you're exactly right. What you just said, that the democracy and the idea around democracy, we can't force our influence, and it's not democracy that we're spreading anyway. We're doing it through fear, through intimidation, and if these politicians, these warmongers, are so hell bent on spreading wars, spreading destruction, then let's let them suit up. Let's let them volunteer a family member, and let's let them be the first on the front line.
Yep. Absolutely. Absolutely. They should pass a law. If you're a senator or congressman, you vote for war. Your children, your oldest ones that are old enough to serve, should be conscripted to serve on the front lines. Let's see how quick they'll be able to vote for war.
Right. Yeah. Because I tell you what's happening is that with all this rhetoric, with all this talk, and I think there for a little while, I think there was a pause because I really think that Russia and China both had the same glimmer of hope that we did, right?
Yep.
Of hey, this things are going to change. With Syria, the U.S. is going to get Syria. We're going to get Afghanistan. We're going to, focus a little bit, more in terms of the United States and our efforts, and become a good, model citizen, global citizen for the other countries. And they're seeing the writing on the wall, V. So they are speeding up their timetable of de-dollarization, and
Yep.
and, and it's occurring quickly, V.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. You know, Russia announced that all port business in Russia is going to be settled in rubles. That's it. They're not accepting dollars anymore. That's a sign of de-dollarization. You know, China and Ken Chorjan on his website, China to follow up yuan-denominated oil contract with having all commodities to be sold in RMB than dollars. September 18th, the official from China Central Bank announced that the country is in the process of looking at market rules to determine how best to start selling all commodities in the yuan currency rather than in the global standard of US dollars. This move comes just weeks after an announcement by the Shanghai International Energy Exchange that China will be formulating a yuan-denominated oil contract to compete directly with the dollar-denominated Brent and WTI. And the whole thing, man, it's the world is changing. Okay, so China's moving. They look. You go to like Shenzhen, you go to like Shanghai, you go to like Hong Kong. You'll see. You go to Chengdu. You see these ports. You see these port cities with warehouses, man. Warehouses stacked from floor to ceiling with raw materials, strategic metals, rare earth minerals. You go in there, you'll see zinc, you'll see cadmium, you see molybdenum, vanadium, gallium, infinium. All of it. Cobalt, everything stacked. Okay, these people are getting ready to launch a real It's like rock paper scissors, man. But they're going to take this rock, all the hard assets, and they're going to break the paper empire of the West. That's exactly what's going to happen. Anyway, man.
Yeah, and the scary part is, V, is that that we still think that we can change things militarily. That we still think that we can, you know, force. We can still hang on to, and maybe that's why there was a change a little bit with the administration. Maybe they brought him in and they showed him all their wargaming out regarding what potentially could happen when the dollar does lose 50% of its value. Maybe
Sure.
they shared with them what would happen in the inner cities. Maybe they shared with them what would happen when the supply chain is broken down, when there's, and look at the hurricane ravaged areas. They're having trouble with their supply chain getting things, back on the shelves.
Yeah.
So those things are very real. Those things are not, make believe, or those things are not, uh, you know, creating anxiety. Those things potentially really can happen. And the scary part is that most Americans have no clue, have no idea that this is going on, that this is happening, that we're about to ready to witness the greatest shift to occur since 50 or 60 years ago, with the global reserve, changing hands. V.
Exactly correct, man. They have no idea any of this is happening. And no one's told Trump, hey, you know what? China's going to wreck. They're going to wreck our dollar standard. Um, and the way to get around it is to piss them off. That's the way to get around it, is threaten your creditor. Have your idiot Treasury Secretary and the Waffle House waitress dimwit bimbo. Nikki Haley is officially the stupidest, dumbest woman I've ever heard in my life. I don't know who's dumber, her or Nancy Pelosi. It is a close race at this point, CJ. But let's have Nikki Haley and Steve the Munchkin Mnuchin go out there and threaten China. Threaten China economically. Because that's always a good idea, right?
Yeah.
I don't know what's, dude. It's amateur hour. I don't know what the hell's going on in the White House. I don't know who's talking to the guy. People are saying that they can't get through to him, that he's being cordoned off. They're not letting anybody talk to him or give him an alternative idea. Like nothing, and it's beyond me that this is even happening, Siege. It's incredible. And we're seeing it because we're seeing the neocon moves. We're seeing the neocon actions that are happening within the administration, causing these crazy, like, I'm still trying to figure out what was that missile strike in Syria about. Well, it was just to appease it was a backroom 4D chess maneuver, let the Russians, know, and they give the Russians warning, blah, 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 blah. Okay, but did it get the neocons? Did it get the deep state off your back? No. Did it do anything? No. What happened? Well, it seems as if the deep state, all right, clamped down even more. Right? I mean, so what's the point, man? It's beyond me, Siege.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's challenging, also because of the fact that not only President Trump has been literally crucified, right, by the media, by the Republican Party, by the
Yeah.
Democratic Party, by the deep state. I mean, all these elements that came around to basically to tie him down in his efforts. Uh, it makes it challenge. So what is the next step? What is the end game? Well, unfortunately, with aligning the thoughts of perhaps they can swing this around through military intervention through this, it's too late. Everything's already been put in place the last several years. Our counterparts, that are allies that we used to count on, they're no longer aligning around our thoughts because they can't. They're financially, struggling themselves.
Yeah.
So yeah, so we just have to continue to monitor it, keep reporting facts as they're coming out, and
Yeah.
and if Trump does something great or does something well, we all do the same thing. When Obama did something well, I would applaud
Right.
his actions. Okay, and
Right.
which was far and few and in between. But kind of like what we've said, several times, is that for don't wait for something big to happen politically and everything else because it's not going to be there. Now is the time to get back, take a look at your community, take a look at your family, really focus in on some time taking to see where exactly you are in this game that's happening to ensure that when this change does occur, that you're prepared to come out okay on the other side.
Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. I agree with you wholeheartedly. With that being said, buddy, we're at the end of the broadcast. What do we got lined up for today?
Today it is Hump Day, so
Yes, it
Bix at
is.
1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So very very excited. I'm sure he'll have a lot to say, especially with. Uh, I'll let him talk about it, but it was discovered that, in fact, that some of the J.P. Morgan traders overseas went and bought Bitcoin on the dip. So
Exactly. Exactly. I'll fire anybody. I'll fire anybody who's trading Bitcoin. Says Jamie Dimon. Yeah. Okay, Jamie. You should fire yourself. How about you send yourself to prison? You just give yourself up and admit to your financial crimes, you crony. Anyway.
yeah, and then the other thing too is just with the people in Puerto Rico, this is probably the last thing that they needed. They're broke. They need U.S. support, U.S. money, and they're getting ready to get ravished by Hurricane. Is it Maria? Hurricane Maria?
Yeah, Maria.
That's hitting there today. So I know that Peter Schiff was talking about the other day. Because that's where he lives there primarily,
Yeah.
and he was getting out. But they talk like they could be. Um, it's going to become hell on earth when they don't have power, water, and everything else for potentially a good while.
Absolutely. With that being said, folks, we are over and out. Take it away, CJ.